For more than 40 years and 1,600 columns, one journalist's quest for truth and honesty has taken him down many dark and seedy paths, unrelenting and unafraid. Guided by the light of truth, he has traveled many difficult journeys as a watchdog for all, ever vigilant. Then, one day, the presses fell silent. The newspaper for which he toiled closed forever. Undeterred, the scribe goes on.
Mahoning Valley residents from a certain era who are involved in a certain business, the word business in quotes, have one thing in common: they're great storytellers. I met one such individual several years ago, and he enthralled me with his stories about the Mahoning Valley during the heyday of steel making and, yes, gambling. He has been a veritable fount of information about the very lucrative underground economy that contributed to this region's national reputation. I'm Bertram de Souza, host of the Scribbler Publishing Group podcast and retired editorial page editor and Sunday columnist of the now closed Youngstown Vindicator. I have authored a book, No Holds Barred, which is dedicated to the 150-year-old newspaper. Today's online broadcast is another in a series we've aired on the Mafia, the legalization of sports betting in Ohio, and public corruption. There's a chapter in the book dedicated to the Mafia and gambling in the Mahoning Valley. No Holds Barred is on sale at Barnes & Noble in Boardman or can be purchased by going on my website, scribblergroup.com. My guest today has lived in the Valley for 85 years, and I finally persuaded him to talk about his life with the boys, the word boys in quotes, and his involvement in various legitimate businesses. He had three conditions for agreeing to talk to me on tape. First, he did not want to be filmed. Second, he did not want his name used. And third, we have distorted my guest's voice at his request. And so today's broadcast has the video camera focused on me while my friend talks off camera. Photographs of the era of Youngstown and other parts of the Mahoning Valley will be flashed on the screen. I'm sure those of you of a certain age will recognize many of the landmarks. I hope you find my guest as interesting as I did. Thanks for agreeing to sit down just to have a nice conversation about the old days, which I'm always intrigued. Love the stories you've told over the years. Enjoyed our friendship. And so we've done several broadcasts about the old days of Youngstown and the Mahoning Valley, especially about gambling. We've done things about the Mafia, and there's a lot of interest, especially from younger people who don't know what it was like to be part of this region in the good old days, like some people say. So tell us, let's start by telling me just a little about yourself. You grew up in Youngstown?
Yes, I grew up in Youngstown on the south side.
Where?
On the lower
The
south
lower
side.
side. And where'd you go? Did you go to school where? What schools were in?
South High,
South High. Okay.
then Youngstown College.
Okay. And you did everything that young people in this area did. You did sports. You did.
Yeah, I played softball. Did you play softball? In the Lil Parker League.
Ah. Were you good?
Yes. One of the better catchers.
Were you really? Never did want to pursue it. Didn't.
No.
Why?
Well, he played against the king in his court.
Ah.
That four-man team.
Yeah.
I met him at the Pick, Ohio Hotel. His one arm was bigger than the other.
Is that right?
From pitching.
Because I remember seeing news stories about him, about the
king in his court.
King in his court.
He came to Youngstown a lot. They played at Idora Park baseball field.
So downtown was very different
Yeah.
than it is today. So when you started getting involved in downtown and getting to know downtown, what existed? What did you have? There was what hotels were down here?
On Monday nights, town would be open till 9 o'clock.
Okay.
You get all the shoppers and everything. Then after the town had closed, you'd either go to a restaurant, like Hasty House,
Yeah.
Hollander's,
Yeah.
and the Pick Ohio Hotel.
Now, the Pick Ohio Hotel, which is now the Media Plaza Senior Citizens, right?
Right.
There was a bar in the hotel, right?
There was a bar in the hotel, but we never went in there. There was the coffee shop.
Okay.
Caught on fire twice, I think.
Oh, it did. And then where was the Purple Cow?
That was it. That was the Purple Cow, right on the corner. It was the Pick Ohio Hotel.
Okay. And
The downstairs part on the left-hand side, facing Hazel, I think that was.
now the Purple Cow was what was it? Because it's
It's a restaurant.
a restaurant.
Yeah, it'd open once in a while, all night it used to.
And so everybody used to assemble there?
Yeah. After town closed, no place else to go.
Were they after hours bars in town as well, in downtown?
Well, being 17, you weren't allowed in the bar.
Right.
So you didn't go, you went to coffee shops. And that's where you hung around.
So you were 17 when you were down at the
Purple Cow.
Purple Cow, and that's when you first got your introduction to
Writing numbers.
writing numbers. So tell us about that. Tell me about that. How did that come
A
about?
guy came over to me and said, "Come with me. I want to show you 2 places I want you to stop." I said, "Sure." He said, "I'll give you $50. I said, "I'll go."
Okay.
So I went to one house. He said, "The lady will give you this little brown bag." And I said, "Okay." And we went to another house on a different street on the west side and got another brown bag. And he says, "I want you to come here every Wednesday to pick these brown bags up." I said, "Okay." And I put him in my car, come and park next to the hotel. When I see the guy, I give him the bags. I wouldn't look inside because I didn't want to know what's inside. None of my business.
Yeah.
And that's how I picked up numbers.
When did you realize that's what you were picking up?
Well, after I had to pay some people money.
Okay, so not only were you picking up the bags, but if somebody hit,
I'd have to give them a brown bag
okay,
because they put their name on the slips
oh, okay,
because that's the only evidence the police have. If you got, if I came to you and you were picking up numbers,
yeah,
how do you know who to pay?
exactly.
Unless you wrote it in a certain ink that you shine a black light on, and it brings out the numbers.
So there were some people who would write down names in a certain ink that you could only read with black light, and then they'd write something else on the top of that,
Right.
so nobody knew what it was. So these houses that you went and picked up the bags from, are they just houses in the neighborhood?
Yeah. I guess anybody that would play numbers would bring it to that house,
Okay.
and that house would, if somebody hit, they'd pay the people,
Right.
and I'd pay that house,
Okay.
and everybody get paid. The more you hit, the more you'll play.
That's true.
Remember one thing, if you hit for $100, you're going to pay $125 back, thinking you're going to hit for $200.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's the way gambling works. The house always makes money.
So when did you first realize there was money to be made in this sort of operation? Or this
After I was giving it out of my right hand, taking it in with my left hand.
Okay.
And I was giving out more with this, but this left hand had more money than the right hand
Yeah.
because this was the house. You don't pay that much. If there's 2 people playing, only one person wins once in a while.
Right.
Usually it's two people that lose.
Okay.
Just like if you came to me and I was going to Ascot Park, which is near Akron,
Right.
and there's 8 horses running. You come to me and say, hey, you got a good horse today? I give you reject the bound. Joe Blow comes to me and says, hey, you going up to try? Yeah. Who you gonna bet? I give you another horse.
Okay.
I meet 8 different people. One guy's gonna win and think I'm a smart guy.
But 7 lose.
Yeah. Those 7 won't bet with me, but I'll make the money up off of the guy that wins.
Yeah.
But the 7 might ask me again, and I give a different guy a winner. Now I got 2 guys that like me, and they'll bet with me.
All right. So you did, the guy you used to pick up the bags for, was it somebody who was known in town? Was he a big operator? What was
He worked for the water department.
the city water department?
Yeah.
And he was what? Who did he do?
Well, I don't know who, if he gave, he'd just stop and say, you got anything for me? And I'd say, here. I'd give him what I had, and he'd go on his way.
But you didn't know who his ultimate boss was.
No.
But they ultimately worked for somebody, right? I mean,
Right.
and who were
He was just a pickup man.
yeah, so who were the key operators for the Bug in this area?
Probably, there was 2 brothers, I think. I don't want to say their names.
Well, they would be known, in town, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were big. Who else was big in gambling in the region?
Probably them and the Naples brothers.
Naples brothers. Who else? Because yeah,
In Liberty, he probably had a different person. Camel had a different person.
but ultimately, did all the gambling was all the gambling sort of coordinated by the mob?
Oh, yeah. It had to be because they're the ones with money. Because if somebody hit big, where are you going to get it? You don't have it. You only take in what you can handle.
Yeah.
What you can't handle, you call off to a layoff house.
Okay, explain what the layoff house is. So let's go through the process. So okay.
I have a number.
So you were 17 when you first started running
Yeah.
numbers. How long did that last? How many years did you do that?
For a long time, because I turned 18 and 19.
Okay. So ultimately, though, you ended up operating your own,
Well, me and a partner.
operating your own bug house.
Yeah.
Where was that located?
Market Street.
So you had a partner, and when you say bug house, you have this impression of this, like the Sting, where you have the movie.
It's writing numbers.
Okay, well, where was your location? Is it on Market Street?
On Market Street in an apartment.
It was an apartment.
Yeah. The guy rented the apartment.
Yeah.
I put in my time, 8 hours a day. He put in the money. And I would do my time and we'd be partners. If we make money, we made money. If not, we lost money.
Okay, so
But we always covered ourselves so you wouldn't lose, you break even. You wouldn't make money that day. You might make it the next day.
So operating a bug house, what does that entail?
It's a numbers house.
Okay, a numbers house. What happens, say, on a daily basis?
People pick up the numbers,
Yeah.
they call you, you write them down, and you write the person that calls you. You write, in those days, the race and stock. The stock market they play. And they play a nickel, a dime, nickel, and a dime. You're only going to pay, if you play a cut number, it's 4-to-1, so you're paying $20 out.
okay.
So you're not paying a lot of money. But all them nickels and dimes add up because nobody hardly ever hits. And if you have a lot, and say you write all these numbers down, and at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, you get the first two numbers of a 3-digit. Say the first two numbers was 27.
Yeah.
You go down your sheet. If there's no 2s on it, you're a winner that day.
Okay, so just so that I and our viewers understand, and could you write down, okay,
Write down 5 numbers.
okay, let me write down 5 numbers. All right, so, okay, 11, 6, 9, 5, 6, 9, 7, 4, and 3. Okay, so that's 5 numbers right there. Okay,
Okay.
so what happens now?
Now the race and the stock at 2 o'clock they come out.
Okay, the race is what? What's the race?
Hialeah racetrack.
Okay,
Whatever, how they figured is take of the first race and the take of the second race.
Okay.
Those are the first 2 numbers.
All right.
We say whatever there was, we'll say it was 27.
all right,
27, you call a house, and what's the first 2 numbers? 27. I just went down this slip.
yeah,
I'm a winner because you don't have no 27s.
okay,
Say you had 271.
yeah,
Now I say, wait a minute, how much money you bet on this number? If it's a quarter, I got enough money to pay you. If it's $2, I might not have enough money.
Why? What would a $2 bet pay with 2 7?
Well, if that's not a cut number,
Yeah.
6 to 1,
Oh, okay.
about $600 and some dollars.
Wow.
Tax free.
Yeah, that's true.
Now you say, oh, $600 and some dollars, and I only got $300. I better call this off to a bigger bookie,
All right.
which is a layoff house.
Lay off? Is that okay?
Yeah. And you call this number and say, hey, I'd like to bet $25 on that number 1. If 271 hits you,
Yeah.
you just hit for $25, number 1,
Okay.
at the layoff house. The layoff house pays you, and you pay him.
Okay. And so you would be covering, you're
You're right.
laying off your bet to make sure that if
I don't get hurt.
you
that
don't get
day.
hurt.
So I don't make no money that day.
Right.
But remember, there's 6 days in a week.
Yeah.
So I'll be making money some of these days.
So the numbers you would, unlike the Ohio lottery, where the numbers are drawn with these ping
Well,
pong.
I think it used to be at the Hialeah racetrack.
Okay.
Whatever the take on the first race was, it would be a last number. Say
Okay.
the
Of
last
that take. All right.
take, say it was a 3.
Okay.
Okay, in the second race,
All right.
the last number of that take was a 4.
Okay.
So the first 2 numbers are 3 and 4. And then later on in the race, maybe the 7th or something, you get the last number.
All right. Okay.
So you cover yourself with the first 2 numbers.
Okay.
In stock, in those early days,
And this is stock market stock. You're talking.
right, it'd come out in the Post-Gazette. You could read it in the Post-Gazette what the number was.
All right.
So people get the Post-Gazette early in the morning and try to pass post you. Try to play that number, which everybody already knows hit.
Right.
So you don't take that number. You just say, what time is it? And they'll say 3 o'clock, and you'll look at the clock next to you and you'll say, oh, it's not. That thing was already played.
Okay.
They do that in horses a lot. Try to pass post you.
Okay. It's called pass post.
Yeah, they bet
Yeah. Right.
the post has already went.
Yeah.
So they'd call you and say, hey, I want to bet $20 on Southern Bell. You say, okay, what time do you got? And you'll say 2 o'clock, and here it's 3 o'clock. The race hasn't started at 2,
Right.
it's already been there. So you know the winner. And I say, hey, it's 3 o'clock. I'm not taking that bet. That race was already ran.
So did you have a fixed number of customers of the?
Yeah, you usually have 5 or 6, or you have, like I'll tell you, you pick me up $5 worth of numbers, I'll give you $1.
And I'm the runner.
Yep. So you go out and get as many people as you can,
All right.
because you're going to make money.
Yeah.
And if somebody hits, you'll make more money because they'll give you something.
So how many years did you operate the Bug House?
Oh, probably about 5, 6.
Is that right? What was the largest bet you ever took in?
Well, the largest bet I ever took was probably about $5, but I called that off. I don't want to handle that. That'd hurt me. I'd call you because you're a bigger bookie than me, and I'll bet it with you.
Okay.
And if those people hit me, I hit you.
That's
Plus, you're giving me a percentage of the $5 I call you because you want my business.
that's right.
Because Joe Blow over here, he might want to give me 15% off. You're only giving me 10%. So I'm going to call him. The guy that gives me the guy that gives the little guy the best percentage is going to get the business.
Right.
And that's what you do. You play Joe against Jim. Because Jim will say, well, he's giving you 10%, I'll give you 15. And that's what you tell the people out in the street that's picking up numbers for you. I'll give you 10%, where I was only giving you 5 before. I'm getting 15 here, and I'm giving you 10, and I'm making 5.
How easy was it to find people to run to be bug runners?
Oh, well, it's only people you know.
Right.
It's only people you know. If you were hanging around downtown, and somebody say, hey, you know, I like to pick up some numbers, I can make some money. You'd say, okay, how many? Good. Pick up some numbers,
So what's the advantage of having young people? You started when you were 17. What's the advantage of having them?
I can't go to jail, can I? I go to a detention home for a day.
Okay. For a day?
Yeah. If you're 18, they'll put you on trial. You go, and because you're a grown-up.
So that's why all of these bug runners, many of the bug runners were young kids, were kids.
You can make $50. That's a lot of money in those days.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have to figure it's race and stock back and then.
Right.
But that's a lot of money for a young guy.
Okay.
So
that explains it.
So that's what you do. And you hope people hit because they always give you money.
Okay. Is it 10% of your winnings?
Well, they say 10% because that's what the person usually gives you.
Okay.
So they call them 10%ers.
So if you were a runner, not only did you get paid from the guy you're running my numbers for, you'd even get paid from the person who won.
Who won? Yeah.
Oh.
You hope the guy hits because you know he's going to give you $5 or $6. And you hit, I get off for you. Say somebody else hits, I get it from them. So that's $10 I picked up in 2 days without doing no work.
Tax-free.
Right.
So who bet? Who were the people who were
Poor
betting?
people. Because you're poor and you think you can make some money. You have a nickel on you. Hey, I can make $10, $12. I'll play a nickel on the number. Those nickels add up if you get 100 people.
Yeah.
Nobody hits and you're a winner.
But there were also politicians, there were cops, there were, lawyers. There were,
Remember one thing, you don't advertise your business.
what does that mean?
You don't tell everybody what you're doing.
Okay.
You only have a select few.
Oh.
And they don't tell because, do you want to go to jail? So you ain't gonna open your mouth. You ain't gonna say, hey, I pick up numbers for Joe and Joe. Because you don't want to go to jail for picking up numbers if they're illegal.
Yeah.
The state of Ohio found out you can make money, so they legalized it.
That's right. That's exactly right, yeah.
Yeah, because they knew everybody was playing numbers. And they figured, hey, we better get in on this.
Yeah.
That put the gamblers out of business.
They did, yeah.
So what's the gamblers going to do?
But even then, when I first came to town 40 years ago, I got to know somebody who wrote numbers, for the mob. And one day he says to me, he says, hey, do you play the lottery? And I say, yeah, I play the lottery. And he said, what do you do? And I say, I play, dollar straight, dollar box, a number I like. And he says, well, if you hit straight, with the Ohio lottery, you get $500, right? Then you get $83 for the box. He said, why don't you play with me? And I went, oh, what do you mean? And he says, if you hit straight with me, you get $600.
Right.
I went, I do? Didn't know who he was, right? So I go back to the office. I'm new in town. Go back to the office. I'm talking to this veteran police reporter. And I said, hey, this guy said I should play the number with him. What do you think? And he said, who do you think he works for? It was for one of the mobsters.
Yeah, because what happened is to get your business, I have to do one better than the next person.
Right.
If somebody was giving you $400, I got to give you $500.
And the other problem too, the other advantage too, is that if you hit more than $500 with the Ohio lottery, you pay tax.
Correct.
If you hit more than $500,
With a bookie, you don't play because nobody knows it.
that's right.
You don't put your business in the street. What you do is your business and the person you do business with. Because if everybody knows it, it's no secret anymore.
So did the mobsters know that you had a bug house?
Oh, yeah.
They did? You didn't have any problems with them?
Nope.
Why not?
Because I wasn't big enough.
Ah.
I wasn't cutting into their money. I was only doing a few. And it wasn't hurting them because these people I played with me didn't play with the mob. They wouldn't play with the mob. They just played with me because they knew me.
Okay.
And they knew I could pay them off because my partner had the money and I put the time.
Had you ever been approached by people
Nope.
associated with the mob saying, hey, you're doing so well, why don't you come?
Nope. How do they know I'm doing so well? You don't put your business in the street.
Yeah. So they wouldn't know whether you're
No.
making money or not making
Because
money?
you complain every day. Doggone, I lost $300 yesterday.
That's what all gamblers do. That's what all gamblers do that,
Yeah.
right?
I lost $200. They don't know that. You figure, oh, geez, those people are losers. We don't want them. Why would you pick on a loser?
Yeah.
If I can't bring you money, you don't want me working for you.
It's true.
That's the way it works.
So why did you get out of the business?
Because I got married, and I had a daughter. And what good I'm going to do in jail
Yeah.
for my family? So you get out of the business. And you don't do nothing.
And then you went legit.
Right.
But yet, you know a lot of stuff that went on in our area. I mean, you know a lot of the characters that I know.
Well,
You sort of know of them. You knew some of them. You were friends with some of them. What were they like? I mean, because you had this, most people have this image of these mobsters and these criminals and the crooks and all of this of the region.
The ones I knew were nice. They'd help you out.
Nice how?
Hey, I'm down and out today. I need some money. How much you need? $20. Here. Now don't gamble it. I don't want to hear you gambling this $20 I just gave you. You need food, you need a sandwich. Go ahead. Pay me back when you can, when you got money. If I borrowed money, I'd say, boy, he's a nice guy. When I get money, I give you 10, 15, and I'll say, hey, you know, I made some money, here's an extra 5. So out of the $25 I gave you, I made 30.
Yeah.
Because I was nice to you.
So this reputation that these mobsters had, that if you borrowed money from them and didn't pay them back, they'd break your kneecaps.
Those are loan sharks. Loan sharks, that's the business they were in. When I came to if you go to a loan shark, you know what you're getting. You know what you're paying. And you know the consequences.
What was the interest they charged, you know?
I don't know what they charged. But you know what you were getting into.
And everybody knew who the loan sharks were.
They probably did, because I didn't know no loan sharks. But because the people I knew, if you needed $10, they'd say, here, take it, give it to me when you can.
And these were guys who were involved. I mean, he was...
Yeah, there were other, we'll say, lower echelon gamblers. Or they'd gamble, they make money. One day they'd have $2,000 in their pocket. The next day their pockets were inside out because they didn't have no money. That's the way they were. Gamblers, they have money, and they think they're going to make a big hit, and they don't. So if you're a gambler, you have to know your limits. If you got $400, you only bet $300. You need the 100.
And you don't gamble, do you?
No.
You were a bug runner, you ran a bug house, and you don't gamble.
Nope.
Why not?
Because you know you can't win. If you have to study it, know the odds against you. The odds are against you. You pick 3 numbers out.
Yeah.
How many times could they hit?
Right.
Right there and there, it tells you it's against you. The only way you hit is by some lucky phenomenon. Because if you knew the numbers, everybody would play it.
Exactly, yeah.
So you don't know. You have a dream, and you're driving fast, the police pick you up. You go to a dream book and say, got picked up. Oh, there's the number, 841. I'm playing 841 today.
You know, for the last several days that we've been talking, you've been mentioning one number in particular. I don't know why you keep mentioning it.
It's the death number, and everybody plays it.
679.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've mentioned that several days. So I played it last night, and today it didn't come out.
No, that's a death number.
Well,
That goes to show you. You should play the numbers. That's why I don't gamble.
yeah, because when they were building the casino, the Racino in Austintown, I was talking to one of the executives from Penn National, and I said to him, so which are the best machines, slot machines to play that have the best odds? And he said to me, if I knew, I wouldn't be working for Penn
Right.
National. I'd own Penn National. So,
Yeah, because you can't beat the house. 4 people play, maybe only one could win.
you know, I always thought that you would be somebody who would bet on horses. I mean, you knew guys in this area who owned horses.
Yeah.
Who ran horses at Thistledown and
Ascot Park.
yeah,
Well, one horse was named after my daughter.
it was.
Yeah. A guy that owned a painting company in Youngstown,
Yeah.
he had horses. So he brought me
And
out.
I know who it is, by the way, but
Yeah.
we won't mention the name. Go ahead.
And we went out to his farm, and
Yeah.
there was 4 horses that would only have a filly, I guess. And one of them, he said, when they're born, we'll name it after your daughter.
Yeah.
And she picked a horse out, and he named it. The horse never won, always came in second. I lost money betting on it to win.
I bet your daughter did much better in life than the horse
Well,
did.
when I take her to Thistledown,
Yeah.
she'd bet on the horse with blue glasses that have blue
Yeah, blinders.
blinders,
Right.
or she'd bet on the horse with red stockings, because
Right.
and she'd win. And the guy next to me goes, "Hey, could I borrow her for a while?" Because she was just picking horses that had different colors and all that. She's winning, I'm losing, this guy's losing.
I knew a woman from Cuba who, she and her husband had a business, very successful. She said, always bet on a gray horse with a flat ass. That's how she would pick horses. I said, okay. You're right. I mean, unless you study and you know,
Right.
even if you study the,
I'll tell you a little
forms and all
story.
that. Yeah.
Up at Thistledown, me and my buddy, we're standing there watching the horses. This guy with boots on and that come over to us and said, "You guys find the horses?" "Yeah, we're playing." "I bet you guys don't know the next winner." I said, "I'll bet you $30 I do." He said, "I bet you don't. There's only 6 horses in the race." My buddy goes buys $2 tickets on 6 different horses.
Okay.
Me and the guy stalking, I take out my 30 and put it right there. He takes out his 30. The horse race is over. I pick it, go in my pocket, say, "Here's the ticket." My buddy puts the winning ticket in my pocket. I take it out and show him, and I take the guy's 30.
You bet every horse.
Yeah, he gave it. And we're watching the race, and if the horse is way in the front, my buddy just slips the ticket in my pocket. I go in my pocket and say, "There's the winning ticket." The guy goes, "Damn, I don't know how you knew that." So I get all the horse that won, and whatever I get, bet with this guy that thinks he's a smarty.
But there were a lot of people in town who bet horses. A lot.
Yeah, well, the horse track was so close. It's Cleveland.
Yeah.
You had 3 tracks. Ascot Park near Akron, Randall Park,
Right.
which is a mall,
Yes.
and Thistledown. And you go to all 3, and there was another little track that I bet on a horse, and he jumped the rail and went to the drive-in theater.
Where was?
It was Cranwood,
Where?
out near Cleveland, Cranwood Park. The horse was going right to the first turn, jumped over the rail, and went to the drive-in.
Oh, was it a steeplechase horse?
No, it was a regular doggone horse. Yeah, at Cranwood Park, I remember that park. There was Cranwood, Thistledown, and Randall Park. And Ascot was near Akron.
Right. So after you got out of this business that always was a threat of going to prison, you went into a legitimate business.
Yeah.
Did you manage the burlesque house after
4 people.
after you got out of your own,
Yeah.
after you left the bug house? So tell us about that. Where was the burlesque house located?
Up here on Federal Street at the Blood Bank now.
Oh, it's the Blood Bank. All right, on Federal. And was
Across from the Greyhound
right, or the
Greyhound
bus station.
bus station.
What was it called?
Well, the guy used to come in from Washington and run the theater.
He owned it.
Yeah. Well, he owned it with people out of
Washington, D.C.
Silver Slipper.
Okay.
And what happened is they needed somebody in Youngstown to watch over it for them. They had this one comedian. He was running it, but I guess he left or whatever. And the guy from Washington used to live in a Pickle High, and me and my wife knew him, got to meet him, and he said to my wife, "Hey, I'd like to have your
Yeah.
husband run the theater for me." She said, "I don't care," because I wasn't working.
Right.
So I ran the theater for him for a while.
Now, the burlesque house in those days was not a strip joint.
Right.
It was an
Burlesque
entertainment.
is just if you go back with Rose LaRose, old-time burlesque, started burlesque, I'd say. She didn't take off all her clothes. She was a tease. Burlesque is a tease. You see a lady walking down the street.
Yeah.
If she has tight clothes on, there goes your imagination.
Okay.
Remember, fully clothed ladies look better than naked ones.
It's true. Because it lets your imagination run away with you.
Your imagination is everything. And that's what burlesque is. It's a tease.
So these fan dancers were burlesque?
Yeah, Sally Rand, which played the Chicago World Fair. She was a fan dancer. I mean, she was a little lady in stature, so the fan would cover her whole body. And she was well known because she played the Chicago World Fair.
So when you managed the burlesque house here for the people in Washington D.C., where did the performers come from?
They were on a circuit or from an agent. Say you're an agent for 6 girls.
Okay.
You'll call the theater or whoever you know owns the theater and say, "Hey, how about putting so-and-so in your theater?" And you'll say how much you charge. He gets his whatever he charges the girl, and he'll say, "How about this?" And you'll say, "I can't go." So instead of getting a 10% commission, he'll drop his to 5%, and you'll book 5 girls.
Okay.
So you put them in, if you own 4 theaters, you put 1 girl in every theater. 1 week she'll play 1 theater, next week she'll play the other theater, and she makes the circuit.
So where was the circuit in this area? It started what? Buffalo?
Buffalo, Florida,
And Youngstown.
Youngstown.
And who were these? Are they women, girls?
Whatever they
Who were they? What were their backgrounds?
dancers, just plain dance. They wanted to be dancers, maybe move, and that's all they knew. They'd rather do that than work 9 to 5.
Right.
Probably because they picked up more money.
Yeah.
So you paid them a feature maybe $700.
For what? A night?
No, for the week.
For the week.
Hey, they're making money. Amateur night, you hire a bunch of girls for $25.
Local girls.
Any place.
Right.
They don't have, you're an agent. I'll call you out of
Right.
Pittsburgh. Say, "Hey, you got any girls that are working?" "Yeah, I got one in Akron." And "Well, I'm going to have amateur night. You tell her to come into my theater. I'll give you $50. So I give that agent $50. The girl comes in. Whatever he pays the girl, that's his business.
Okay, what advantage? So these are not strippers, and these are not somebody where the clientele.
Some of them are college girls.
Right.
They're trying to make money, go to college.
Yeah. So the client, the people who come to watch them, there's no interaction like
No,
strip joints, right?
right.
So
Well,
do they
they
make
don't
tape?
they're not close to them.
Okay.
You're sitting in a movie theater.
All right. Yeah.
You're sitting in a movie theater, the stage is up there, maybe a little square out into the audience. They go out there and dance. You put a dark light on them, like a blue light,
Right.
and the people are going, and you don't see nothing but the girl teases you, and that's it. That's the show.
So who were the people who used to go and watch?
I don't know, because I
They
don't
were all
know.
locals, right?
Oh, they have to be.
Yeah.
Unless it's a bunch of college kids. Like a fraternity might book a bunch, and you give them a discount. They call you.
Because they're in college.
Well, they call you
College
up.
discount. I like that.
They call you up and they say, hey, our fraternity like to see a burlesque, or we know so-and-so's playing at the burlesque. Oh, okay. I'll give you $1 off on the ticket. Say the ticket's $5. I'll give you $1 off on the ticket.
Okay.
That's all I made money.
Because the whole fraternity would come down.
Yeah. They pull up in their little bus or their car, park the cars, and they all come in.
Now, was alcohol served?
No.
All? No.
We didn't have no alcohol.
Okay.
There was no alcohol, nothing, just magazines and the girls.
Right.
And that's all we had.
Who are some of the better known burlesque performers that you...
Busty Russell.
Now, was she local or she was from...
No, all of them were out of town.
Oh, they were?
Irma the Body. Oh, what's the...
That was the last one. There was one with Lavender.
Dal Lavender.
Lavender.
Those are three of the top ones. If you look in the old Vindicators, I used to advertise.
Oh, did you?
In a little square, cost me $114, I think. Little square in the show section. Until some girl called me one time at the theater.
Yeah.
He said, that's my picture. I said, huh, I was using the phrase. It was a stock picture that the Vindicator had. You know Prosser?
Yes, I know
He
Prosser.
was my guy.
He put a stock picture of an actual girl in
was-
the ad.
It was a stock picture that Vindicator had, and I was advertising it. I just put the
And
girl.
you...
You put the girl's name in the score. Feature Barkby, all the, and then there's an open space and you put the girl's
Yeah.
name. And they've been using it for ages. And then you look and go, hey, I get a phone call. I call the Vindicator and I say, hey, we can't use that no more. Somebody called me and told me that's their picture. So you cut out another picture and put it in.
Well, it's a good thing you weren't advertising a strip joint. Then you would have been in
just a
trouble.
burlesque. See, and when the strip joint started, nobody came to burlesque.
Yeah, yeah. And there were strip joints downtown.
No, right on Fifth Avenue,
Yeah.
they had a strip joint. What could I show different? My girls were closed; those were topless.
Yeah.
So the guys that came to my place now went up the hill, and it didn't cost them nothing but drinks.
Yes. Yeah.
Mine was you get $5, you come in.
That's right.
Then I used to advertise, you bring your wife, they come in for nothing, you get paid the $5 just to bring in business.
How long did this gig of yours last?
Oh, it lasted pretty long. Let's see, that was back in the 70s. That was back in the 70s, I think.
So people like you sort of looked after the girls who performed.
Well, yeah, it's a job.
Yeah.
It's just like you go to your job 9 to 5.
Right.
It's a job. Your job is dancing, that's what you do. You be there at 2, 4, 8, and 11.
Wow.
You do 4 shows a day. 20 minutes or 15. But it's a job. Just like if I was a distributor for the Vindicator.
Right.
What I do, pick up the newspapers and go deliver them. This lady comes to work, dances, and I don't care where she goes, as long as you're there. At 2, 4, 8, and 11.
Did you feel a sense of responsibility for these girls? Did you?
Yes, because you're their mother and their father. They don't know anybody here. All they know is the guy they work for. They come in my office, they come in on a Monday for the 4 o'clock show. They come in, stay at the Pickle High because they could walk to the theater.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'd have One guy, he liked to pick up the girls.
Okay.
To tell everybody he rides the girls. They pick the girls up, bring them up to the theater. That's their job. I tell them, you be here at 2, you be here at 4, be a half hour early. That way I know you're here. And that's a job for people. Just like somebody that goes to work 9 to 5. Only they probably make more money.
Yeah.
And if they want to go out and drink, that's their business. But don't do nothing illegal, because Rusty Russell's name don't go first.
In the paper.
Right. Big thick letters says Park Theater.
Yeah.
And then inside the article, in the little small print, is your name. Because Park Theater will sell papers.
Oh,
Your name don't
we
sell.
never did the stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, your background has also been in theater, in production, in set design,
Well, I worked television.
television.
I was a cameraman, director.
This all sounds more boring than what you used to do as a bug runner and running a bug house.
Nah, everything's exciting. Every day's different.
Yeah.
Remember, every day's different. Every step of life is different.
So, when you were managing the burlesque house, you also had, you sort of overseeing a bar across the street,
Yeah.
right? There's a story you tell about how the bars where they had to get their booze from.
Yeah, there was one place all bars had to buy. If you had a liquor license, you had to go off of Andrews Avenue. It was a big liquor,
Wholesaler?
right. And that's where everybody got their booze from.
All the bars.
Yeah.
You couldn't go to a liquor store, pick
No,
up
a
6
liquor store
bottles
and
of
buy it. No. You weren't allowed. I don't know why, but it was now you're allowed.
So what would happen if you did that?
You get a violation, a liquor violation.
And that's what happened. They found out, one of the liquor agents found
Yeah,
out
found us in the garbage can.
a tag from the liquor store where a
Right.
bottle had been bought. And it wasn't meant to cheat or anything. It was just
No.
a time thing. She wanted to go and pick
Well,
up a bottle.
we were out that kind
Right.
of liquor, and we got cited. And when you go down for a liquor violation, you sit in front of 4 people at that time.
Yeah.
You sit in a chair like I'm sitting now. The 4 people sit up there and they fire questions at you. Are you the manager? Where'd you buy that bottle? How come you got that bottle? How come you didn't buy more? And they fire all these questions at you.
So when you ran a bar, you also had to serve food?
Yeah. That's,
So,
in those days, that was a must.
okay. And so one time you went before the liquor board because I guess the liquor agents didn't find any food.
Right.
And what was your defense?
I told them that I had two cans of soup back there, and the painters must have ate the soup.
That's why there was no food in the establishment.
Yeah, the soup. A bar owner in Columbus told me, get a hot dog rotisserie, put it behind the bar, and let the hot dogs just go around. Now you got food.
But don't eat the hot dogs from those rotisseries.
If you wanted to, go ahead, but you don't know how
And so
long
that's why these places had rotisseries with hot dogs,
Yeah,
because that was food.
yeah, and real nice places probably had a little kitchen and all that. But if you just had a bar that only sit 20 people or 15, you don't have no food unless you put some food in the back and tell nobody don't be eating that.
Well, somebody we both know who ran a strip joint in town was a very good cook.
Yeah.
You know, he really was very masterful, especially cooking Italian food. And so, you know, you could go to his joint eat lunch and watch the dance and watch the strippers.
Yeah,
This is
but
really,
he had lunch down. You'd usually eat in a separate room because the bar
Right.
was off to the side.
Well, sometimes he'd serve you at the bar if you wanted to.
Oh, he'd let you eat at the bar.
I know.
Who wants to eat with dancers going over their food?
But yeah, and I think that's there were strip joints downtown. I mean, people knew that. I mean, there was not. There were certain rules you couldn't. And there was another strip joint owner who his rule was you never talk to the girls who danced. I mean, that's you could buy them a drink, but he didn't want you to.
Yeah, high price drinks.
Yeah, yeah.
But it all comes down to the girls have to make a living.
Yeah.
Some may be college girls, some may be over the hill girls. They can't get no jobs no more. And you put them not as a feature, but people remember their names. They won't be the feature. They might be.
Right.
And maybe you hire 3 girls. But burlesque used to have a feature. They used to have the comedians, the old Park Theater on Champion Street.
Yeah.
They had features, then at an intermission, they'd walk around and sell popcorn with a lighter in every box of popcorn you bought. There'll be a lighter in this box.
A cigarette lighter.
Yeah. They didn't say cigarette lighter. They said a lighter.
Okay.
A pack of matches.
All right.
That's a lighter.
Because they used to have what do they call them? Lord Chesterfield girls who used to walk around with those trays of cigarettes.
It wasn't the girl. There was a guy that sold them.
There.
The guy, the comedian be up there telling them what you could win in this box and everything, and he'd walk around with the box. Hey, you want this box? Oh, there's a lighter in there. Hey, that box is going to cost me $1. I'm going to get a lighter? Hey, I'll take a box. You open the box and there's a pack of matches. That's the lighter. You can light your cigarettes with it, your cigar.
Yeah, in those days you could smoke in establishments, couldn't you?
Well, we didn't let them.
No?
No, because you have to have all these exits.
Yeah.
And the only way out, I don't know the old park. The new park, we only had this one fire door over on the left-hand side. So if there was a fire over here, where?
Yeah, but you were across the street from the fire department.
Yeah, but the firemen, they were there, but the truck and the ladder wasn't.
So, and then of course because of your other sort of business activities and other professions that you've pursued, you ultimately ended up working for a company that we both know and all of that,
Yeah.
and retired from there. But talk to me about this region has always had a national reputation for having some of the best burglars, around.
Well, they probably did. It was just like, say you're going to go out and do something illegal. So what do you hire? You hire people that could, if you were running a business, you would hire a cement contractor because he could put in a sidewalk. You would hire an electrician because he could do a light. So that's what you do if you have a criminal gang.
Okay, who's in the gang?
Oh, I don't know who is.
Who are the people? Who are some of the
Well, a guy that could open a safe.
All right, so that's a safe cracker.
Yeah. A guy that could drive a car.
All right,
A guy that could be a lookout.
okay.
And any other expertise, somebody could jump the alarm.
All right, explain what jumping the alarm means.
Well, when you go into a place, it got a burglar alarm.
Yeah.
So somebody got to go to that box and make sure that burglar alarm don't go off at the police station or the ADT station.
Okay.
So what they do is probably put wire. I don't know how to do it, but they probably put wires on. They go into the joint and then the wires go around the burglar alarm.
And disarm the alarm that way.
That way, how's it going off?
Right.
You got a terminal coming in, you put a clip over
Right.
there. Now this is the box. Now if I break in this joint, it goes off in this box.
Right.
And now this wire goes to the alarm. You put a clip here, bypass it, put a clip here. Now you got a straight circuit.
Right.
There's nothing in the box that goes off.
Right. And also there was a guy who specialized in opening doors because of,
That's what he does.
okay, how do you do that?
He just pulls the locks and goes in.
You pull a lock.
Yeah,
With what, a special gadget?
a lock puller. A big, it's like a big claw.
Yeah.
You put it over a lock, slam it down,
Yeah.
pull like a mother, and the lock comes out.
Okay, so lock comes out, you open the door, the
Then
guy's
you put the
all
lock back in.
right, but
And you
then,
shut the door and put something at the bottom so the door don't fly open.
so you put a wedge, some
Yeah.
sort of a wedge under the door, because if if a cop is patrolling,
Yeah. Oh,
He
he
tries to
keeps the
push it.
lock in it. Well, if he's lazy, he don't
right,
touch the door. He just walks, shines the flashlight on the lock, looks through the window, and keeps on going.
so were there any safe crackers in our region who were considered the best? Were there people who really were good at that?
Yeah. I know one, but I don't say it.
Don't talk about his name, but why was he so good? What
Because that's all he did.
he knew how to open safes.
Yeah, he's dead now.
Yeah. What was his why
That's all he did. Him and another guy. If they were going someplace, like Georgia,
yeah,
to go into a post office or something where there was money,
yeah.
they'd have him there to take care of the safe.
Out of state? They
Oh, yeah. They get hired out of state. You don't, where you eat.
right. That's true.
You don't do stuff in your own backyard because everybody will know you.
Okay. But there were guys who did that and they'd get caught.
That's why they got caught.
Yeah.
You go out of town. You go to, well, you know somebody in Texas. You go down to Texas. I knew somebody that used to come out on the corner, open his, every time, we'll say like a tailor shop got robbed.
Yeah.
Now all them suits and big headlines, such and such tailor shop gets robbed. Next day you see a guy up on the corner, he opens his trunk, he's selling suits out of the trunk.
Okay.
But there's one catch. He bought the suits over in Pennsylvania that a company was going out of business. Those aren't hot suits.
Yeah.
But you as a buyer don't know it, do you? Because he cut the labels out.
Okay.
You say, shit, I could sell them for 20, and I can make some money. Okay, I'll take them. Now you go out and try to sell them. There's no labels in them
Yeah.
because they're legit, but I cut the labels out.
Right.
I also got a receipt for buying them.
Right.
So if you get picked up, you say, hey, I bought these suits off of Joe Blow over here. Cops come to Joe Blow and says, we got a search warrant for your house. They go in, they see all these suits, so they get happy. They know they're going to take you to jail.
Yeah.
But they can't because you got a receipt for them all. You just bought them out of the store that was going out of business. And that's the way you...
There's a story about, and we've talked about a couple of guys from here who went to Columbus to do some kind of to break in.
Yeah.
Tell that story because it's fascinating, especially the fact of how
Well,
getting prepared to break into that safe. What their guys did.
Well, what they do, you get a book, or you go on, probably you go online now, to look at different safes.
All right.
What kind of safe and how it's just like if you bought a safe.
Right.
They give you the book of instructions.
Okay.
The burglars get the same book.
Okay.
Now, they know exactly what you know about that safe.
Yeah.
But if they read the wrong page and don't know the safe is in cement, they're in trouble because they can't move the safe.
All right.
Because once in a while, they take the whole safe. Because their safes aren't big.
Yeah.
Some are,
Right.
but safes are just little squares. You wrap them up, put them on the dolly, and put them on the truck out outside, and you're gone.
Okay.
But the people I knew, this safe was in cement.
Where? In Columbus?
In a brewery, I think.
Okay.
So they didn't get nothing but the cash register, and the cops got them.
So they are in this place, they break in, they go to the safe,
Yeah,
and realize they can't move the safe because it's in cement.
right.
Okay.
So on their way out, they grabbed the cash register.
Yeah.
And when they got outside, a helicopter shined a light on them and arrested everybody. And they all went to jail.
Did they?
Yep, and I don't forget how many years they did. But they were arrested. And they have like walkie-talkies, but the police were on a different
Right.
frequency than the crooks were. The crooks thought they were listening to the police and they didn't hear nothing.
They were on a different frequency.
Yeah. They thought they were on the police frequency.
Oh, God.
And they didn't hear the police say, go to X, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They didn't hear the police say that, so they're taking their time. And the police came over with the helicopter and out of bushes and everything and arrested them all.
But there were legitimate, for example, there were stories about trucks being hijacked, especially meat trucks.
Well, I don't know about them.
One time I'm sitting in the bar downtown and somebody comes up to me and says, "Hey, do you eat steak?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah, I got a box of steaks. And I'll give it to you really cheap." And I said, "What kind of steaks?" He said, "Prime steaks." And so I'm thinking about it, and somebody else pulls me aside and says, "You know, there was a truck that was hijacked, a meat truck. That's what they're selling."
Yeah, I didn't know the truck. I remember that somebody hijacked a semi that had washing machines and all that in it. And then they opened up a
An appliance store?
yeah. Well, not an appliance store, but a place where you come in and do wash.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. A laundromat.
Right, that's it.
With the stolen machines?
Yeah.
God.
He eventually got caught. Because they knew who he was.
Oh, they did. So we used to talk about this area, and when I kept asking you about the old days and how come there was all this activity going on, and you said it was wide open. What does that mean?
Well, wide open is nobody would bother you if you're a little, we'll say a little runner and all
Right.
that. Because they're not getting nothing off you. Somebody has to make an arrest. You don't want to arrest the little guy because he don't make headlines. You go to I think in the old days there was 2 bug houses. One run by the Greeks and one run by the Italians. Those are the places you want to hit because that's what makes headlines. If they picked up John that's running for the bug house, he ain't going to get nothing.
Right.
He's going to get fined. He'll get fined for picking up numbers, $25, get the heck out of here. So the only problem was when they need an arrest, so they come to me and they say to me, "You want to make $50?" I said, "Yeah."
Who the guy you were running numbers for?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I said, "Yeah." I'd stand on the corner, cops pick me up, I got number slips in my pocket. Now I got arrested. What goes in the newspaper? Numbers guy arrested on the corner picking up numbers.
Yeah.
I made $50, $100.
For being arrested.
I come downtown, judge smacks the thing, $25 and fine.
Okay.
I say, okay. 2 months later, they come in, want to make $200? Yeah, what? Stand on that corner. Cops come by, pick me up. We do the same thing. But remember one thing, then I get a record.
But you know, it almost suggests that in law enforcement, especially with the Youngstown Police Department, they realized that if they didn't show any arrests with all the crime going on in the city, the newspaper, other media would be saying, "Hey, what's going on here? We know of all of this." So what in fact they were doing was they were sending word out to the
And
guys
they pick up people.
the guys saying, "Hey,
But then
we need to pick up a couple of people just to make it look good for the media."
in the old days, too, when you only had two houses, you figure they were always picking up the people that worked for you and nobody that picked up for me. And then you start complaining. Hey, how come these guys are getting picked up and Joe Blow's guys aren't getting picked up? Then you figure, hey, somebody's paying somebody off.
Right.
And I'm not saying they get paid off because you don't know.
Well, we know for sure that Trafficant, when he was with the Carabias,
Oh.
he basically said, I'll take money from you and I'll turn a blind eye to all of your illegal activities and I'll go after
Oh,
the
he
other
was
guy.
using that as the money against them, as
That's what
evidence.
That's what he claimed. It was a sting operation he was
Yeah.
doing. Yeah.
And he was the sting.
Yeah. You've had a good life.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully.
And and now you're spending your years doing scratch-offs
Yep. And visiting my
and
grandkids.
visiting your grandkids.
Yeah, you get out of that stuff because you don't, how could I support a family
Yeah.
if I was in jail?
Yeah.
So you get out of it. You could do legitimate work. And that way, you're a legitimate guy. Your past is past, and you look to the future.
Well, but I think there was also, but with the big guys, I mean, like with the big mobsters, the Naples and the Carabias and all of that, if one went off to prison, they
They supported their
support the families.
Don't always believe that.
No.
You see on TV some of the people out of New York City, the mobsters, they didn't support somebody's
Right.
family.
Right.
And when that guy got out of jail, now he's mad because his wife was living in poverty almost.
Right.
So what's he gonna do? I'm turning an informer on you.
Right.
So now I'm gonna be a federal witness in the federal protection. See, those are rats, but that's the way it is. You have to take care of people, families. If you're in a certain group, say there's 5 of us that always work together, and one got picked up, well, 4 of us got to support that family.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
So
And if we don't, then that guy's going to be highly
Right.
pissed, and we'll all be in the who's got with them.
Yes, exactly. So with your background and knowledge and stuff like that, do you have any idea or do you have any, in your mind, an explanation for why Lenny Stroller became a rat?
Oh, I don't know. Because I didn't know Lenny.
Didn't you?
I knew him to see him, but
Yeah.
I never sat and talked
He used to hang out at the,
Ramada.
right, in Liberty.
Yeah, I was up there many times.
Yeah.
Thing is, I never talked to him. I didn't know him or his group. All I knew was, Grano.
Verano, Jeep.
Like Strollos, I didn't know because I never talked to him.
What about the Naples?
Naples, I ran around with a Naples.
Did you? Were they nice?
Oh, yeah. This was a young Naples. They were cousins to
Right.
to these other Naples.
Right. Joey's cousins?
Yeah. Because I only seen them one time when on Christmas Eve. We went to Grandma's house up in Briar Hill to deliver something and take some ladies to church, to St. Anthony's. That's, if the Naples were there,
Oh, yeah.
they were there and I didn't know 'em.
Well, you know, the Naples supported
St. Anthony.
St. Anthony's. Yeah. In fact, when Joey was killed, you know, they had his funeral mass at St. Anthony, Monsignor Di Marinas. Yeah, when I went to Naples funeral mass, and I sat in the back, and I saw all these guys from out of town come in.
New Kensington.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. They all came in. Front pew.
Yeah. Yeah, I was at,
I'm always surprised that they never solved that murder, Naples murder. And I think that right now the FBI doesn't.
they don't care.
They don't care.
A lot of times if this guy and this guy and they're in the mob or something, they don't care.
Yeah.
I heard one guy say, let them kill each other.
That used to be, in fact, for a long time, that's what the FBI basically said. I mean, as long as they kill each other and not hurt innocent people, who cares?
Right.
Well, listen, this has been fascinating. It really has. Thank you. This will be something you can keep forever, and
Yeah, I'll bury it with me.